Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordinance. Good to see you all. Haven't seen you in a while, and I hope all is well with you. Let's see. We're going to give everybody a while to get in here, seeing as we haven't live streamed in. God, I don't even know what's it been, Joe. A month. As usual, Joe's the first one in, the only one in. Hopefully that changes pretty quick here. We shall see. But, or, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one here. I'm a little late. Oh, gosh, by about 11 minutes. So who knows? Maybe nobody shows up. But we will give it a few minutes for some folks to jump in and see what's happening here. So for those of you that are new here, this is Koffee and Kalashnikovs, and today is September 19th, 2023. We bring you news about the firearm industry, firearms in general, firearms collecting, ammo, 2A rights news and happenings, a little bit about everything. If it has to do with firearms or making them, buying them, collecting them, history of them, news, whatever it may be, we report on it. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay here. Let's see what we got going on with the volume here. I don't know why it doesn't seem check. Check. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully it's working and you guys are hearing everything. Hopefully. Oh, great. It says it's working. Somebody chime in chat over here. Let's see, and then we'll get going. We got a lot to talk about. Let's see. I think we got a little something going on here. I don't know. We'll have to check and make sure that everything's good. If someone would tell me if the volume's, if you guys can hear me, let me know if everything's good. Because it's on my end, it's showing you can't. And we got some really cool stuff for you today. All good. Okay. That is awesome. So we got a few people in here. We'll get going then. So, hey, number one, I apologize for not being here for you guys for the last few weeks. But as you or a lot of you know, we've had some big changes in our lives, so to speak, in the last, certainly over the last couple of years. And most recently, sorry, I'm just moving my lighting here because it's driving me nuts. It's a little bright. We're testing out some new lighting. We got some new stuff for you here. Yeah, a lot of changes to our life that have affected the channel and all that good stuff. So wanted to tell you what's going on and update you a little bit. And boy, it's glad to see all you guys chiming back in. I was afraid to almost come on because it had been so long and worrying like, hey, are these guys going to jump back on the bandwagon here? And I was just going to drop a video tonight, and that was taking a while to upload. And so here I am, a little unprepared, but we got so much to talk about. We'll get through everything. Part of the reason the last 4 weeks happened was our Starlink system went down. some of you may know that we are currently full-timers in our motorhome, our motor coach, and we rely solely on our Starlink system. Um, it works extremely well when it's working. Some of you have been with us long enough to remember a lot of the follies with getting internet up and running and losing streams and all kinds of stuff. We are in a Thor Challenger. So it's a gas coach. It's 37 feet long, 37 and a half. I'll give you a little background on that in a bit, and we'll go through it and some of the things it has led to. Anyhow, we lost our Starlink system. I got a new mount that mounts the ladder on the rear of it, and it's a telescoping. I guess it was originally meant as a flagpole, sort of where you can run the pole up and adjust the height, and when you drive, you put it down and whatever. And we take the head of the Starlink system off and stow it. Well, we were in a hurry, and I told you guys in one of the live streams that my dad passed away. We lost my dad just before the 4th of July, June 30th. And so we were in a hurry, headed to Florida to get down there, trying to get to hospice before he passed, which we made it. And I'm letting the dish down from the roof to my wife wasn't down there. I'm letting it down by the cord, which normally it's impossible to unplug the thing. Well, it comes unplugged, the dish crashes, and boom, that was it. So had to wait 4 or 5 weeks for a new one, maybe longer. And without it, we just didn't have good enough internet to do a live stream. The shared park internet here, as you can imagine, is stressed, well overloaded, and just doesn't work well. Somebody said I'm living the dream. Well, I've full-time before. Many of you may know that my family raced motorcycles all over the country, and we lived at a racing facility for a couple of years. The longest we stayed was probably, 8 months maybe, in the motorhome. And it was always fine. Me and my daughter, my wife, or me and my 2 daughters and my wife, or even when my son was with, it was fine. But when you have to take your animals with, it's another story, especially when you have an English Mastiff, what is she? A Burmese mountain dog, something like that. I don't know. Big mountain dog mix, a Chihuahua, and a cat. The cat is kind of the biggest nightmare because I'm allergic, and the hair, and it likes to claw things. It's destroyed furniture in here already. And just having the dogs and all that hair, you're vacuuming 3 times a day, you're letting them out. It's just a pain. Anyhow, we had a different motorhome. We traded it in last minute for this, a knee-jerk reaction. So my old motorhome, in my opinion, was 10 times nicer, but it had been lent out to family, and when it got back, it needed just some redoing. I had the interior redone to the tune of 10 grand, and windows put in, a new windshield, a bunch of stuff, and it was just bugging me. So we took this in trade where I work, and I ended up purchasing this, a little bit bigger and double slides up front here. Our old one was single, so it's twice as wide up front. I figured great for the dogs. That's why we did it. And had I thought a little bit more about it, I've been in the RV industry for years and years. I know the quality difference. Our other one, although it was 2 years older, was twice the quality level, and it shows in this motorhome. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So it's got me really disgusted. While a few things are nicer, a lot is less, and we would have been more comfortable in the old one. And it actually, I think, partially led to me being hospitalized last weekend. I was in the hospital for 2 days. We'll get to that too. So As you can see, just a ton of stuff going on, not least of which is the purchase of our new home and property. And the video you're going to see being dropped is one of the start of the project, our homestead project. That's what we're calling it. And you say, well, Chris, you're a firearm channel. How does that you work with a firearm channel? And trust me, I thought about doing a second channel. Number one, because algorithms are probably, well, let's say guaranteed, much better for a channel that specializes in things like homesteading, prepping, animals, farms, farming, all that kind of stuff, right? Pretty sure the algorithm would be much kinder to me there. Maybe I could actually put something together where, with a little helping hand from the powers that be, give me a channel that's rocking and rolling, right? Not to say this channel didn't. At one point, we were cruising along fabulously until we got north of 5,000 subscribers and in the range of 7,000. I can look at the analytics and just see the slide off. A lot of it partially was the live stream. Not that it wasn't popular. I just think it changed the algorithm. And maybe things I talked about and different stuff just kind of shot us in the rear. Who knows? But I decided to keep it here for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've always told you guys I wasn't in this for the money, not at all. My hopes would be that it was self-supporting at a minimum because, while firearms are my hobby, are going to be partially my living. And that was always the goal of the channel, to eventually promote my finishing businesses, but as far as Cerakote and stuff like that. But, it's expensive. Ammo, club fees, gas, firearms, optics, this, that, everything we test, we pay for. Nobody gives us anything. So it's fully supported by this, which was looking good at one point. Now maybe you get paid once every 2 months, and well, these days it's well less than a small shopping trip to the grocery store, let's just say. Anyhow, videos get demonetized, that type of thing, but I'll tell you how you can support the channel, and I don't go into it a lot one time and you won't hear any more. So if you go back down to the chat here, you'll see a little $ thingy. If you click on that and you do a super chat, it goes to the channel, helps support what we do, and we certainly appreciate it. Also, it tells us who gave it to us, and we will get to your question or your whatever quicker than others. That's what we do for you. We're going to develop some other stuff too to monetize things, some t-shirts and some kind of cool stuff, so you'll see that coming. But right now I just got so much on my hands, it's hard to keep up. Anyhow, so it wasn't about the money with this channel. It was about sharing my perspective as a regular gun guy, just like you guys. I run into the same things you do. We're buying a firearm, and oh man, that's a lot of money. And how do you budget for it? How do you purchase it, and let alone purchase enough to keep a channel rolling? Optics and this and that. It's expensive. Ammo has been out of sight, but we manage, and it was more about bringing you guys a real perspective and the truth too. I never wanted to be a sellout to anybody or any company or product, so we've held true to that, and I bring you what I find, pure and simple. But at the end of the day, as a regular gun guy, I come to find out that most of the people, friends, family I hang out with, we're into other things too, not just guns, but hunting, fishing, the outdoors in general, patriotism. That's probably a no-go word for the algorithm, right? We enjoy military stuff, military surplus, um, outdoor clothing. I hate to use the term prepping because that kind of corners you and gives you this connotation of, I don't know. When I hear prepping, I think of some psycho dude on a bad TV show on one of the big networks that's planning for the zombie apocalypse, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Um, I just call it being prepared, being ready. And I think while there's certainly a lot of younger folks that have the same mindset, the older you get, I think the more you realize how things really are in this crazy world. And it's not about, you know, the nutso stuff. It's natural disasters. It's economic problems, whether that be losing a job or a recession, or hey, maybe a global economic problem. War is an issue. I mean, look at Ukraine's going on right now. People think, well, could World War III be around the corner? Problems with China, Taiwan, Ukraine, Russia, us, this, that, the other, balloons flying over, all kinds of stuff. Who knows what could pop up, especially today? Things are just nuts, right? Upside down clown world, I call it. But hey, who am I to say what's legit and what's not? I think that comes with experience, education, and a lot of reading, deciphering, and sifting through what's legit and what's not, right? So when you put a group of guys together, they all tend to enjoy the same thing if we're all centered around that, right? So I thought, well, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that aspire to, uh, number one, just prep, but number two, move to that next level where you bring your whole um, uh, home life or home or property or however you want to look at it into the process, right? Where you make yourself a little bit insulated from any of those things that could possibly happen, make yourself a little more self-sufficient where any outside stuff may not bother you as bad. uh, just smooth out those humps and valleys, right? So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of us have seen things like the price of gas, the price of groceries, the price of ammunition shortages. If you weren't ready for one, if you didn't have stuff uh, stocked away for your hobby or your hunting or your shooting, astronomical prices, and you say, well, I'm ready, I can reload. And well, did you have primers? Because those went from $20 a thousand to, I saw $300 and $400 a thousand, and the average where it settled in now is about 120 a thousand. So that's 5 times what it was just 3-4 years ago, that I could walk in any shop and buy 1,000 primers, and I could buy as many as I wanted, 10,000, 20,000. I could buy 5,000 primers for $100. Now, 5,000 primers are $600. Think about that. Gunpowder is up at least 50%. Brass, way up, way up. Um, Everything has gone nuts. Reloading equipment, there's companies out there right now. Look, I feel like Misha. I got a cat walking in the background here, right? And no, I don't claim to be anywhere near Misha's level. I'm a pure amateur compared to him. If you guys have never been over to the Mishiko channel, yeah, you should treat yourself and go over there. He is in FFL that got his start to like you and I. He's just another average gun guy that loved military surplus and started collecting and shooting. Oh, he's blind, by the way. Did I mention that? But I started collecting and shooting, became an FFL, and has just a marvelous collection. But the most amazing thing about Misha, that's his name, and his company is Misha. His FFL is something Bear. I'll get the name of it. I forget. Something Bear Armament or Bear whatever. And he's out of Missouri now. He was out of, I think, Mississippi or Alabama maybe, but now he's in Missouri. Anyway, his most amazing thing, other than he does all this as a blind individual, but I think that gives him his best quality, and that is he must have the equivalent of a photographic memory, because he remembers facts, dates, production numbers, years of production, how many of this model, that model. It's unbelievable the amount of knowledge stuffed in this man's head. And when I tell you he's an average guy, he's as average comes, other than that fact. And he still shoots, although doesn't do many accuracy tests. He makes jokes about that sometimes. It's kind of funny. But if you get a chance, go over there and check it out, because it's awesome. And it's always one of my favorite channels to check out since the beginning. And he's an AK guy too. Loves AKs, loves Russian stuff, and he's got some really neat stuff. Anyhow, I wanted to bring my fans this project because it fits everything. And number one, it started because the reason we moved was we were spending time between Wisconsin and Illinois. And when the Illinois assault weapon ban hit, I came home and told my wife, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't want any attachment. And the only attachment we had at that point was one family home that, frankly, nobody was using much anymore. Kids were gone, all of that good stuff. And I said, I don't care if we're 10 feet over the border or 500 miles over the border, but I wanted to keep my job. I didn't want to go that far. So we went over the border a decent distance. Can't hear me? That's what I was asking you guys, and nobody said anything. Hold on. Give me 1 second. What the heck? I can't believe gain is all the way up. I can't believe this. We've got the volume all the way up, and yet so can you guys hear me or not? The problem is when I tap this, I'm not hearing anything. Let me see if I can change a setting real quick. Darn it. I don't know if I can or not. Let's see. Let me get in here. And hang on with me, guys, just for a minute, okay? I'm very sorry about this. But I just want to make sure. Play through output, input. That's why. Let's see. Is that better, maybe, perhaps? That sounds like it's a bit better. Let's see. Is that better, guys? I can't tell. Tell me if you can hear me. Somebody. Sounds even the same. What in the heck? I swear I am screwed by YouTube. Look at this. This thing should be jumping like crazy. And it's not. Sometimes these cords go nutso on me. I don't know. Can everybody hear me okay? Just tell me yes. Everybody give me a yes. Okay. Well, you're hearing it. So we'll just stick with it for now. I'm sorry. One person said they can't hear me, and I freaked out because sometimes. All right. Now I guess you can all hear me, right? Or no? Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't think my mic here, this one that I usually use, is even on. I think it's going through here. I think that's the problem. So we'll move a little closer. Anyhow, um, let's see. But sound has been fine the whole time. Great. Thank you very much for that. Sorry for the delay. Anyhow, so assault weapon ban hits all that. And I decide I'm done with Illinois. And my wife says, you know what? I am too. I don't know if it was her seeing me as upset as I was because, like you guys, I'm sure firearms are a huge part of my life. What would I do with my time? I mean, it's my hobby, it's my collection, it's what I read about, it's what I watch, it's what I enjoy, it's what I work on, it's how I spend all my off time in hunting and other than a little fishing and whatnot. That's what I do. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And nobody wants to be outside the law and have to worry about all that. And thank God that we were lucky enough to be able to do a move like this. Because I get it. Most people can't just pick up and leave. Just it's an impossibility, right? Trust me, I know the amount of money that has been spent. Just forget about selling and purchasing and moving, just moving expenses and all that are astronomical. We expected to save a lot of money living in the RV while we built the new home. Well, I didn't plan on the bill to park this thing at an RV park to $2,200 a month. Think about that, guys. Just a spot, gravel, mind you, weeds. And if you get a seasonal membership, they don't mow for you. You have to mow it. Well, what the hell am I living in an RV for if I have to mow a lawn, But $2,200 a month. That's insane. That's more than most people's mortgages, right? Uh, and for a while, I stayed at my business, parked it there, plugged in. But with the dogs, it was hard. Couldn't just let them out. I had to take them to a certain area, make sure we were cleaning up after them because customers are there, right? Walking around the lot. That wouldn't be too much fun. But yeah, 20 seriously. I was trying to figure out what you meant by seriously, but I'm assuming you meant 2,200 a month. Yeah. There were a couple places we stayed early on, like a county fairgrounds, had a little campground. It was cheaper to stay there. But even so, it was 25 to 30, I think $30 a night. So, add that up. That's $900 a month, even at that level. I could live in a Walmart parking lot, I guess, or move around, but you're working. My wife works from home, so she needs solid internet. We've got the dogs. You can't just go anywhere or live on a street in front of someone's house. You don't want to do that. So, yeah, it adds up. And our plan was to get on the property, put a road in, which we have to do. If you haven't heard what's going on, I'll get to it, but you have to put a road in. And then, sure, you need electricity, right? You think, well, don't those things have batteries and this? Sure. Got a battery bank and inverters and converters and a generator, but you need to run a generator 24/7. I could figure out a way to run the internet routers and all off my inverter, just run another outlet that's served from the inverter, but your battery bank will only last so long before you have to run a generator. And then there's a lot of things you can't use off the inverter. Sure, I could go and put a big solar system on it and all this stuff, but then you're defeating the purpose. For instance, we have one inverter on here that serves just the refrigerator because we have a residential fridge in here. We don't have a little RV fridge. It's full Whirlpool Gold Premium, whatever, and that when you're not running the generator, you're not plugged in, it still needs 110. So we have an inverter dedicated just to that. Well, that SAP's battery is pretty good and all that. So you need the road in, you need power, you need water. I mean, I could pull it out once every few days and go put 100 gallons of water in it. And 100 gallons with 3 dogs and just me and my wife, we could do okay, if we took showers where you shut it off in between soaping up and all that, you could get by probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 days with the dogs, but then you'd have to go out, fill up with water, dump your tanks, all that stuff, come back, fill up with gas because you've been running your generator, putting all that wear and tear on it. It just doesn't make sense, right? So you got to get power out there. You need to get water out there. Well, when you start a project like this, you think, okay, we close on the property and it's go time, man. We're going to get the permit for the drive, which we did. We had it the day we closed. And I thought, I'll get the guy out here and all this. And then we didn't sell our first motorhome. I owned 2 of them at one point, both for cash. So not to mention I'd purchased the property and put a large amount down. So all my cash was tied up in the property and in 2 luxury motorhomes. Well, one had to go, and we had like 3 months. I thought, well, it'll sell right away. Well, repairs had to be done. It had to get online, pictures taken, cleaned up, all that stuff, and then you start the selling process. And by the time you get somebody that's serious, we had it sold, and the folks lied to the bank about their income, and it fell through at the last second. Then I dropped the price, and we lost probably another 30,000 there. But finally sold it because I needed to move. I needed money. I needed to get this drive in. By the way, the drive is $30,000 to $40,000 because it's 6/10 of a mile long, and then across the back to where the barn is, and yada yada yada. So that's just to get the driveway in. And then you start talking to the builder, and you think, well, how long could it take to do the plans? We had a basic elevation of the outside, what we wanted, and then you start designing the inside, and he's got to have his people draw it up and animate it and all this stuff. And you're holding off on the drive because the guy doing the drive, the excavator, can come and do that at the same time he digs the foundation. It'll save money. And you think, how long could that take? We can't be that long till we're at the excavation point. Well, 2 weeks turns into 4 weeks, turns into whatever. A family member dies in between, puts it back even further. And what else happened in there? Selling the motorhome, and then finally finished the plans, and now those are pretty much done, and we're at the permit stage, and septic is holding that up, and finally got that in. So they're telling me, last I spoke to the builder, that they break ground on the driveway tomorrow. In the interim, here's another thing delayed it. There's corn planted everywhere. You're going to see in the video I drop later tonight or tomorrow morning that we leased the tillable acreage here. It's almost 70 acres. And the tillable acreage we lease to a farmer. So he plants corn in the spring, knowing the property's for sale, but he leases it based off X amount of square footage, acres, right? And he pays you as such. Well, now you're going to go in and cut down. I initially thought, well, 25 feet. right? 14 feet for a drive, 5 on each side. We're good. We got a tree line on one side, you got corn on the other. Then you get out there, you start looking, you go, well, if I got this, and now the corn's 9 feet high, right? And you think, man, I'd be driving down a tunnel. And where does the farmer turn around? And on and on. So it's got to be wider. Well, maybe 40 feet will do, right? And we settle on like 50 or something. And then the farmer says, well, if we cut it, it's going to be a minimum of 3 rows and it's 20 feet wide, so 60 feet, which is about right. 14-foot drive. And you need some room from you to the tree line. You don't want to be scraping trees or something falls, and you want some grass, I guess. And on the other side, we not want enough grass and room to plant a row of trees along. My wife I wanted blue spruce, but she thinks some type of flame maple will be pretty. So, yeah, that'll be nice. We're going to get some grass in. Wait till you see the prices I got just for sodding that strip, right? You're going to need a new set of britches when you're done. Needless to say, we're going to do it ourselves. Me and my wife are going to get out there and play Johnny Appleseed or Gary Grassseed. How's that sound? Anyhow, yeah, they're supposed to start on the road tomorrow, which includes clearing the area for the barn, which now the guy that was going to do the barn 3 months ago, I still got to contact to see if he can now do it. But now we're pushing the fall. He's probably got a full schedule. By the way, cement prices are through the roof, and to just do the slab for the garage, I don't know. Anybody do cement? Anybody have an idea on a 40 by 60 pole barn? I'm told $6 a square foot, so do the math. That's insane. It may stay gravel for a while. We'll see. But then once that's up, and only then can we bring the electric in, because you need a pedestal or someplace to put the meter. Oh, yeah, you got a trench for the electric and cable and all that. And they give you 60 feet with any new hookup, or an $1,800 credit per meter, electric meter. So it's extremely expensive to run it, cable and trenching. Let's just say, I think it was somewhere between 40 or 60 grand just to run the electric. Things you're kind of thinking about when you're buying property, but when you stand at the road and you're wanting to buy it, and you think, you leave the property, you go, it ain't all that far to the road, till you go out there the next time and you look and you go, holy cow. And you're going to see in there, anyways, it's 2,600 feet back, which is like 7/10 of a mile. And yeah, I think it's like 40 grand to run the electric. So we say, well, hey, I'll trench it myself and I'll get the cable. I can do that. How bad is it? Rent a trencher and I'll do it. I'll drop it. You hook it at each end. Nope, not in the state of Wisconsin. They're being dicks, actually. They won't allow me to even trench it myself, is last I heard. And at first I thought, well, maybe they think, Joe homeowner is going to trench it. So the builder went to him then and said, well, no, we're going to be the ones doing it. Nope. Now we went from, sure, you can trench it, but it's going to be X amount for this and that, to nope, you can't trench it at all. So I still don't know what'll be there, but that's built into the price of the house. And some of you may say, well, maybe your builder's ripping you off. No, the contract we're doing with the builder is he's actually working for us. He's trying to get the lowest bids he can, and his profits are not reliant upon the price of the home at all. So in other words, he's not driven by keeping the cost down, so he makes more. The difference between the cost and what we pay for the finished home is not his profit. It has nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, there's like a bonus in place if he keeps it the down, under, whatever. So 3 prices on everything. He uses every contact he possibly has to keep the price down, and it's a great way. I did this once before, and I wish I had done this the last time. But it's things like that that I'm going to bring videos to you guys, interspersed with the gun content. Don't worry, that's not going away. This will be kind of its own project unto itself, but in the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you can maybe use it or learn a little bit. If you're going to do your own project, maybe it'll spur you to do a project like this. Couple things, you say, well, why are you going so far back? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, sort of security, OPSEC. If, let's say, things really went to hell, right? And the only people you got around you are neighbors and friends that are on your side, and other people traveling down a road may not be your friend, and they see a nice target and they make you that target. Well, all the stuff that you've put away to prep and do could be taken from you. So why not have a nondescript little farm road going back a long way to even walk, be not seen? If it's not seen, it's not tempting. And that's why I love this property so much. It goes back, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up again, it goes down and levels off. When the house is done, you're not even going to see it from the road. It's going to be awesome. You're just going to see a nondescript gravel road, no big gates. Look at my big estate, all that shit with electric gates. I'm not doing any of that. I'll have some serious posts into the ground with cement and all, and a extremely sturdy cable or chain should we want it, or maybe some farm gates. I don't know, but they're not going to be locked on a daily basis or anything like that. And we're also probably going to put something across the front, perhaps other things. I'm also, this is a work in process. So thinking about camera security and learning a little bit about that. There's a lot of wireless systems out there, but they don't go too far. And they certainly aren't going that far. Some will claim, if they claim a mile range, at best they're doing a half mile or less, so maybe we run some conduit when we trench to run cable. I don't know, maybe we can pull a cable or something like that. Or maybe there is some type of wireless system that's good enough to reach that, or cellular. You're going to see in the video, here's some cool, I've been boring you with a lot of stuff, so let's get to some good stuff that'll keep you interested here in the gun world. Some things that we're doing. So I've learned a lot about cellular cameras because I purchased a couple game cameras, and wow, I did the research. Let me see if I've got, hold on, I'm going to grab the package for this because I want to show you guys. Where is it? Here we go. All right. My wife's like, why have you been saving this empty package for so long? But I did a lot of research into all these cameras, and they all take SD cards and all this crap. And let's face it, a lot of guys that are hunting certain properties, a deer lease maybe or something, or maybe they have a property they go up once a year and hunt. Maybe that property is a few hundred miles away or 1,000 miles away. They don't want to have to drive up there, get an SD card, download it into a phone or computer just to see what's been walking by, right? So out come these cell cameras, and depending on the plan you buy, this one happens to have, it's SPY Point Flex. This one happens to have, it comes with a free plan, so you get 100 pictures free with the camera. And the cool thing is, it'll work off either Verizon or AT&T. It's got dual SIM cards in it for both, and it's not added on to your plan or anything like that. Wherever you put it, it picks the strongest signal. So it could go AT&T, it could go Verizon, but it'll pick the best one. And you get 100 pictures free per month with the purchase of the camera. And you activate the camera, and that's it. It's GPS enabled. It takes HD 1080p video. It takes high definition pictures. It takes 50-second videos. So set it to shoot either or. And what it does is and you can set it to notify you once a day, every time it goes off, or anywhere in between. So I have it set every 2 hours to send me anything that happened. So let's say a deer walks by at, I think it starts at, I started at like 8 a.m. And then every 2 hours I get transmissions. Let's say at 8:05, buck walked by, and it took a 15-second video of him. It will send me a notification at 10 o'clock, 2 hours, that, hey, you have 1 or 5 or however many videos it shot. And all it sends you is a preview of the video. So you get a couple frames at the beginning, couple frames in the middle, couple frames at the end. It's a video preview. And it shows like a video just flashing between those 3 points and those few frames, but you get a basic idea of what's on the video. And then and only then can you choose to download that video in HD. So one, you're not using up your battery, cell time, data, all that stuff. Only get the ones you want. Pictures a little less. You can send. They send it in a decent format. I mean, it's got to be. I'd guess the pictures are at least 720 maybe. But when because you pay $5 for, let's see, $5 extra for 50 HD picture downloads, or 50 picture downloads, or 20 video downloads. And so then you can pick which ones you want the HD download of, and it sends you this fabulous picture. Well, the regular picture it sends you in the HD are, yeah, they're a little better, but man, the other ones are good enough. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's got night vision. It shoots at night, and the videos at night are ridiculously good. You'll see some of them in the video I'm dropping. And this was a 2-pack, and it was about $190. Yeah, it's $15 a month for the premium plan, which is unlimited videos, unlimited pictures. And then if you want the high definition video downloads, it's $5 for 20 of them. So, figure for a camera, $15, and at the most, maybe $10 worth of videos. So you're $25 a month. I put this one at a random spot I picked real quick. I drove out there. I put it on a tree where I had saw like sort of a trail coming out of the woods into this field. And I set it up and left, right? Holy cow. I was never in a million years did I think I was going to get the pictures and videos I got of the animals I got. I've been in the woods and hunting and fishing for 52 years, since I was 6 years old, right? And I've hunted, but some on private property, for 40 plus years. Scouted deer, done all that. Owned property that had heavy deer traffic. I have never seen, ever, nor have I ever known anyone that had this many deer, this many bucks, and this many ginormous bucks in one place. I was shocked. I'm like, Somebody must be putting out like cue the deer, you know." I couldn't believe it. Usually, what do you see? 10 does for every buck, 20 does for every buck. I'm not kidding you. This is like $10 to one doe. Maybe let's be conservative. 8, $7 to every doe. And there's, a couple forkhorns, spikers, 6 pointers. But when you get 8 pointers, they're huge. Our 10 point, most are 10 point bucks and bigger. And they're ginormous, absolutely ginormous. I can't even, I'm like, holy moly. And guess what? My little hospital stay screws up opening morning of bow season. I'm in the hospital and I can't draw a bow back right now. There is no way possible I could draw a bow back right now. So, unfortunately, yeah. The other scary thing is there's been other people hunting on this property, and it wasn't the most recent owner. It was, I think, other people living around that property that either back in the day had permission from an old owner, or maybe that owner, or just other people in the area that knew where this place was and hunted it, because there's stands on the property that have been put up a while ago. The um, the ratchet ties and stuff are showing their age, that kind of thing. But there's a couple ladder stands. There's a pretty nice two-person stand. And there's another stand I saw in the distance I haven't checked out. But I thought, man, I'm not going to be out there. I didn't see anything on the cameras, anybody scouting. But I only got 2 cameras out there, which isn't protecting anywhere near the whole property. Although it probably does a pretty good job on 2 access points. But I was afraid somebody might get out there and get one of these monsters. I would be so upset. There's one, I started naming them just to keep them all straight. And one I call Mambo King. He's just a monster, an absolute gorgeous front of Field and Stream magazine buck. And then there's Treetop. He's an 8 or 10 pointer, but he's got a weird rack. It's real. There's not much spread to it. It's like whoop and super high. So I call him Treetop. And there's Shorty. He's just a spiker. And there's Long Forks. He's got super long beams, and they fork at the top. And there's Mini Mambo. There's which isn't very mini. There's just a ton of them. I'll show a few in the video, 4 or 5, that any hunter would be proud to take as a trophy, not just. And I got to thinking, why? Why are there so many huge bucks out here? And I think the area has, because like I said, I don't know that anybody's been using these stands for quite some time. 2, I don't think it's pressured at all. Really, I don't. So they feel safe there because these bucks are out all times of day. Although as it's moving, or when they were in velvet, I got a lot of video of them in velvet. They're not just out before dawn and after dusk. They're out. Yeah, most are morning or evening, but there's some out, 4 in the evening, 4 in the afternoon, 9, 10 in the morning. They're moving pretty freely. You may catch them between bedding, or maybe they get up to stretch their legs. I'm pretty sure I'm in a spot where they're moving between bedding and feeding areas, but the biggest thing that keeps them on the property. So now that I have had the property a while and I look at it, and there's this cleared field in the middle of the woods, and I'm like, why would they have had that? And I thought, well, let's step back 80 years or 100 years, maybe, when these people first had it. Maybe this was either a clearing for an old house, maybe it was a clearing for a family garden. It's probably 3 acres, maybe 4. Maybe it was a corral or area to keep livestock, or maybe there was a barn there. I don't know. That's what I thought originally. But then I looked to how they carved out other pieces of the tillable versus timber, and they left these pieces of timber in to give separation to these small plots. I think maybe a guy in the last 20 years that may have owned it put these food plots in and separated them. I think maybe he was managing this and just moved on from it. And maybe when it was sold to the guy I bought it from, he bought it for investment reasons and didn't really market toward the deer end of things, you know. Or the other reason, and probably one of the biggest reasons, is our wooded portion runs along the top of a wooded ridge, and that whole wooded ridge area is the only timber, woods, forest for miles. It's all cropland around it. Everything from corn to beans to hay to wheat. And this is the only woods around, and it sucks everything in from miles around. Part of it also could be that we caught them right when there's bachelor pods of bucks. You know, the does separate off in that mid to late summer, and the bucks separate off. And the bucks will hang together for a long time until that testosterone really starts flowing. And, you know, the sparring and fighting starts, and then they kind of separate off and do their thing. So maybe I just caught them when they were all grouped up, and it's wishful thinking, and I only got one dominant buck running the property. I don't know. Time will tell, but we've watched them since they were in velvet, out of velvet, and now the beginning of the rut here, because we're southern Wisconsin, has started because I actually got a buck fight on videotape. I thought, that's how many bucks I got, guys. That one random camera catches 3 bucks fighting. Mostly 2, but all of a sudden the third big boy walks up and goes, "What you 2 little suckers doing over here? Get out." And they both go booking off, you know. But I got them with horns and intertangled, and you can hear them clacking and crashing and everything. It's just amazing. And I expected to see some coyotes too and other wildlife. Well, for like the first 30 days, all I saw were bucks and some does and whatever, but mostly bucks. Like, holy cow. Like, one of the first pictures I got was this ginormous 10-pointer. I'm like, did I just finally, old shit luck, Chris actually fell into something here, you know? But you just won't believe it when you see these deer. I wish I could put them up for you here. We're looking into better live streaming software, so I can do that soon. So keep an eye out for that. But I'm going to drop that video tonight or tomorrow, depending on how the upload gods treat me. And you'll be able to see some pictures of them. I'm not going to have any video in there, but just clips out of the videos, pictures, still frames. It's still, trust me, it is worth seeing. It's amazing. I don't know, maybe you guys look at these deer and go, "Wow, that ain't nothing compared to me." Well, we are only one county over from, one county, we're one county east and maybe one south, I guess. Joe Davies County, Illinois, is where some of the biggest record-crushing bucks in the world come from. We're not too far from there. So, yeah, this is not northern Wisconsin that I'm used to hunting, where, you know, the deer are small-bodied. They're lucky to make it through the winter, especially last year with over 120 inches of snow. And they don't grow the antler mass because they don't have those crops in their diet. You know, they're eating acorns and stuff they find in the woods versus this ginormous smorgasbord of hundreds of acres of corn and beans and grain. And oh, by the way, The other thing on this big ridge is there are acorns and berries everywhere. I mean, and I think if this was planted as a food crop thing, I think there's other stuff in there. I'm just not smart enough to identify it all, but it's certainly been a couple of years since it was planted. But we're going to put some late winter feed stuff in there for next year. I forget what they call them, but kind of like root plants, like similar to potatoes or whatever, that'll keep them fed all winter and attract them to the property even more. And I'm going to, that's what we're kind of doing now. That's part of this homestead thing. You lay out your plan for how it's going to develop. And I'm kind of working with rings of importance that work themselves out. So the house, the barn, where animals may go, crops, tool sheds, this, that. I want everything to be connected smartly, both for monetary sense and also just working sense. Are we going to farm this stuff ourselves? Boy, I would love to tell you that I could become Farmer Chris, but I just don't know. I don't know if I have the knowledge. I'm sure I could do it if I wanted to, but then there's the equipment too, Let's talk about equipment. So you get this property and you think, I got my property, I'll build my house, I'm all done. Then the road thing hits you. Okay, look at all that money. And then the electricity issue hits, and holy crap, look at all that money. And then you get back there and you think, well, I'm putting in this driveway and this gravel, and we're going to have to grade that. And then if I want to do this food plot, I'm going to need a bucket. And boy, it's going to take a lot of mulch to landscape this place. And God, we got to mow all this, and we got to mow all the way along the road, and then the ditch on the cornfield if you want to look respectable and whatnot. Bozo the clown. Who's this old fart? Obviously, you're Bozo. Look at that. He took a lot of time to go through and do his little guy as Bozo, huh? So somebody was planning that. You like that, guys? Isn't that awesome? You know what's cool is we can just bloop. Bye-bye. Get a job, you bum. Obviously, you don't have much. You got too much time on your hands, right? So they're gone. You won't be able to see it anymore. Anyhow, boy, we don't get too many of those, Then again, that could very well be my wife too, messing around. I don't know. But usually when you get stuff like that, it's just people with too much time on their hands and they're jealous. That's all. Anyhow, yeah. So machinery. You need at a minimum a tractor, not just garden tractor, not just a lawn tractor, not even I'll say a compact tractor, but on the bigger side of things, right? Because we're going to need to pull a blade. We're going to have to maybe mow with it. You need a bucket. A mini backhoe would be great because we'll want to dig, lines for wells and water, have water moved to different spots and this and that. A brush hog. I've already rented a brush hog, and you'll see in the video we brush hogged out some old trails in there. And that was a lot of work. I did it with a self-propelled hand one, and it's just a lot of work. So you need a tractor, period. The other thing I think is a must-have is a bobcat, a small skid steer, right? I'd love to have a tracked one with tracks instead of wheels, because you take the ones with wheels out in the mud and they're stuck in no time and you're not going anywhere. So, of course, the ones with tracks are a lot more money. And you start looking at used ones. And even the ones beat to hell with 1,000,000 hours are 20 grand. just gets to be ridiculous. I mean, what are you going to spend 30 grand on a Bobcat, 30 grand on a tractor and a few different attachments? And then what else might you need? God, attachments, those are a couple grand, 3, 4 grand each. It gets, you need a UTV. You need to be able to get around your property, right? Thank God we have that already and it's paid for. So that's a good plus. I think what people do is they get something that will get them by cheap, and maybe they borrow a little money to get one nice piece of equipment. And when that's paid for, they move on to another one, that type of thing. But, I've never been one to get myself in a bad position, and I'm certainly not going to do that now. So, who knows? Needs change. Maybe we sell some things off, whatever, to raise money for different projects. Maybe I could actually get some sponsors for that. That would help out. I don't know. We'll see. But it certainly would be, it's going to be interesting. I just feel that a tractor with the few implements I need and a Bobcat are a must. And like my wife said, maybe we can rent them. So maybe buy a tractor, and when you need a skid steer, you rent it for a day or a week or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of farmers out there that lease them. So it becomes a fairly inexpensive payment, and at the end of the lease you turn it back in and either get another one, or maybe you got all your jobs accomplished or whatever. But yeah, we talked about cameras, which led to seeing all the deer. Oh, and so finally I expected to see some coyotes on there, and I was kind of hoping for some. Well, I didn't want them because we got to get the chickens out there and everything. I didn't want to have to deal with coyotes picking them off, but I didn't see a single coyote in any of these videos. I'm like, huh. But then again, I didn't see any other animals either. Not a raccoon, not a possum, nothing. Just deer. Until, about a week ago, all of a sudden, here's this huge herd of 20, 25 turkeys on the camera. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because I got turkey permits. I can take 2 turkeys, for like $140. I can get 4 turkeys and 8 deer in the state of Wisconsin for $140. Now, I'm not going to shoot 8 deer. That's between archery, rifle, late archery, antlerless, all this stuff. Not going to take 8 deer. I want to go out with and the only deer I'm going to take actually will be a trophy deer. And that's not to say I'm shooting it for trophy reasons. We'll use the meat and everything, even the hide. I got a place where you bring them the hide and they trade it to you for a pair of chopper gloves, mittens. So I do that, but we'll use all of it. But if I'm going to take a deer, I've deer hunted for years. I want a nice trophy. And why take an immature buck, if you have the opportunity? Who knows? That may change. I may just, if I don't see a huge buck, maybe I'll take the opportunity to whatever, do the right thing for the herd is basically what I'm saying. That being said, there's one unique deer. He would be a 10 point. He's got a huge 5 beautiful rack on one side, and on this side he's got one straight horn. So I think it got broke off down at the base here, but it's got one like pretty straight, little bit of curve to it. But it got broke off early. I think the only way it either happened was he got hit by a car, maybe, I'm thinking, early on. In the year, and it screwed up his head and it grew like that, or maybe it was already out and it broke it. But it's strange. I see him all the time. Actually, I see 2 deer that are very similar like that, one smaller than the other. So maybe it's just a genetic trait. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's broken. But it'll be interesting to see. I might harvest that. If that is a genetic trait, well, then we'd probably want to remove him from the herd, right? And it's a mature buck anyways. I mean, he's 10 point. I don't know. He's just at least 4 years old. Uh, just amazing, absolutely amazing. And they don't seem to be bothered. I try to, once I found these deer in these areas, I'm like, oh crap, we can't build the house or barn here. We got to move them because I don't want to disturb them. I don't want to change their patterns. And obviously, this has been going on, God knows, 100 years, who knows how long. But I'm like, we got to move the house. But then where am I going to put it? I won't have a view. I won't have this. I won't have that. And I'm kind of putting the house in the middle of their runway almost. And I really thought solid about it. My wife put her foot down. She says, no, I'm not changing where my house is going so you can hunt and da 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 da. The deer will figure it out. Yeah, I think they will figure it out at the end of the day. But I really wanted to get out there for bow season, to be able to hunt them undisturbed before construction started, because I'm pretty sure. Oh, I started to tell you we had 9-foot corn, so you got to get rid of the corn, and that's before harvest. So I called the farmer, said, "Hey, we're going to be putting a drive in. You're going to lose some corn. I'll make it up to you on the lease." He says, "Well, when are you going to do it?" And I told him. He says, "Well, if you can wait a couple more weeks, we can green chop it and use it for the cows, and at least get some value out of it and save you some money." I said, well, that'd be great. So we had to put it off another couple weeks because of that. So they came in and green chopped 60 feet of it. And I started telling you guys the 60-foot thing. They green chopped 60 feet of it all the way down and across the back. And he got that done. And thank God he did, because if we had to scrape off the top layer that included all that corn, all that organic matter would have been just a bear to deal with. And we're not hauling it off. We're keeping it on the property because we'll be able to use that topsoil. But now with the corn gone off the top, if they push it off for the driveway, put the driveway in, and then wait to spread it, those piles out till the corn is harvested, then we can just spread it out over the field and add to the topsoil. So I think that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll save a small pile of it for projects or gardens or God knows what. But I'd like to pull my dirt from other areas of the property that weren't sprayed with, commercial herbicides and all that. So that will be cool. Hey, it's been well over an hour. I haven't checked in here on the chat, and let's do that real quick. Hopefully everyone that's coming is here. Joe was here. He was the first one in, so thanks, Joe. I don't think he's come back. I was a little late. I got here about 11 minutes after it started. So he may have booked on us. But thanks, Joe, and Chase Kelly. Always thank you, man. You're always here, and he supported the channel from the beginning. There's a lot of you guys that have been here from the beginning. But it's good to see you guys too. Who else? MZ, another one's been here a long time, says, hey, all. RDH, I don't know if you've been here a while or not, but what kind of motorhome? You're living my dream. Sorry to hear for your loss. Well, thank you. He's talking about losing my dad a couple months ago. And most of you know I lost my son a couple years ago. So thank you all. Always you guys that reach out and are always welcome. And I thank you so much for it. It means a lot. We've told a lot of good stories about my dad, and he's a lot of his choices over the years enabled me to know what to buy, what was good, what was, he had a good eye for things. And his collection is very nice. I haven't even had just the heart to even open things up and look at it. It's just been holding a lot of that in, and just didn't want to deal with that right now. So we put that off, but maybe we'll do a video showing you the collection. And it's not just me, it's me and my brother. So things got to be split up or maybe kept together. I don't know. We'll see. Um, some of it's just average stuff that he liked in his later years. He loved 22s, and he would walk in a gun shop and buy a rusty old 22 in the corner and want to fix it up. I fixed one up for him. He just liked 22s and 410s he liked a lot. And he bought a lot of that. Like his spending big money days were over, and he had his neat stuff that made him happy and his shotguns that made him really happy. He was a shotgunner at the end of the day. He loved shotguns. And hopefully I'll continue. I love trap shooting, and he's got a really nice Parazzi that fits me really well, actually. Because over the years I've packed on a little here, so it fits me kind of good. We'll see. I'll have to take it out and shoot it, see if I do any good with it. If not, we'll go back to my 870. I don't know. Not so much the value of the guns as what they mean to me, growing up with some of them, that kind of thing. But yeah, maybe we'll do a video showing you guys that. Maybe finally bring you guys a trap shooting video. See if any of you are interested in that. But he says, RDH says, what kind of motorhome? And it's a Thor Challenger. So those of you that don't know, it's a Class A. And in the motorhome world, Class A's are the bus style. The flat front end look like a big bus, tour bus style to those uninitiated, I guess you'd say. But there's two types of Class A's. There's gas powered motorhomes, and then there's diesel pushers, where it's a diesel engine and it's in the rear. And those are typically your really high-end motorhomes. But as far as gas motorhomes go, there's a couple upper end models that each manufacturer has, and we had a Bounder that for Fleetwood was definitely one of the top of the line. And for those RVers in the know that have had a few RVs, they always knew Bounders were built a little better, a little smarter, had certain features that worked out better for those spending long periods of time in them and full timing and that kind of thing. And we had a Bounder, loved it. Great motorhome. Should have never sold it to buy this. Should have kept it. This is a Thor Challenger. It's built on a Ford chassis. It's got a V10 engine, big 22 or 24-inch wheels, huge differential, 24,000 pound gross vehicle weight. And it's got a full L-shaped kitchen with Whirlpool appliances, and this kitchen would be just fine in any modern home. It's got a king-size bed. It's got a split bath, vanity in one area, and the shower and toilet in another. There's a bedroom slide, so the whole bed slides out, makes a nice big bedroom with a wall of cabinets and TV. We've got a big buffet you see here, runs all the way to the door, and you hit a button and the TV goes up out of the counter. And really, really nice. You're seeing the cockpit up here. That's a shade. You hit a button, it goes down. There's cabinets up there. Big theater seating. It looks like a sofa, but there's reclining theater seats on each side, and the center has like a fold-down armrest and cup holders and stuff. There's a little table that goes in between the captain's chairs when you're not moving, and they swivel around, so they're like having two more recliners. I don't know, there's a TV outside. There's a kitchen and wet bar outside. Huge compartment opens up, got a fridge, sink, cabinetry. We make it our rolling bar, basically. There's storage all around, big awning with LED lights and cool paint job. And it's a nice motorhome. It's Thor's upper end of their gas coaches. And it's a nice motorhome. It's just not to that quality level of the Fleetwood, in my opinion. And I've dealt in motorhomes for over 20 years. So, and dealt in some of the highest end motorhomes there are on the planet. And yeah, it is what it is. We'll when this is done, we'll get rid of it. We sold the other one. We'll get rid of this one, and our plan is to buy either a Newmar or what's the other one? Not Envision. I'll come up with it in a minute. Anyhow, a diesel pusher that we'll use in our retirement travel, see the kids, whatever. We enjoy it. Just don't enjoy full time with all the kids, or not kids, but pets. That's a big pain. We're about to lose the Mastiff. She's got bone cancer, and she's to the point now where she's barely getting in and out. I have to help her, and that's getting worse. We've had a couple slight spills with her, so I got to think about that final trip to the vet. So I'm just putting it off because that's my dog, my favorite, my best dog of all time. I love that dog, and that's just going to be hard again. I've had just a really shitty couple of years, but we'll get past it. We'll see. Anyhow, who else is in here? Militant says, "What's up?" Rensler fell back. You guys all telling me that sounds the same. Not too many comments flying in here tonight. I was a little late, but sounds fine. The price of bringing power to your spot. I see why people build close to the road. It's ridiculous what they charge per foot to run power. Don't even get me started on septic. Yeah, so septic we've budgeted about 10,000. That you can. It just depends on what area perks. And originally, the guy that perked it didn't want to go back into the woods too far, probably because he was a little lazy, maybe. But he told us it was because he didn't know what trees we wanted to keep or save or not, which, okay, thanks. I appreciate that. So he did one area where he punched in and did it, and it only perked for a mound test or a mound system. Well, we don't want a mound system. It's not that they don't work. It's that it's extra cost and you got a mound. So we're doing it a different way. They're going to get a regular field in there. For you guys that know, I'd be interested to know. I thought you want a system that or a field that drains well, like sandy sort of, where the water leaches out into it and it just drains away really well. And I would think you'd want it on an incline. Well, at the back behind the house, it's going to be a walkout basement, but it drops pretty darn good. I mean, steep. I don't even know if I could walk it. So is too steep not good? Is maybe that why it didn't perk? But the area they tested was fairly flat. But you get through the topsoil, and down below, it's all sand and stone. Stones like this, whatever. I guess where a glacier pushed it all up. But pure sand and stone, at least 4 or 5 feet down, that's all I see. Like beach sand. Not that fine, I guess, but is that not good? Do you want a flatter area? What are you looking for? What makes it work and what doesn't? What would be the difference between a mound and a regular field as far as soil? What would change the perk test? If any of you know, let's see, he goes by R. It was the one that said, don't get me started on the septic. So maybe he knows. And he said power. Yeah, power. It is ridiculous. And then today they want to lay aluminum cable instead of copper. Well, I've always heard aluminum comes loose, at least in the boxes. If you ran aluminum wiring in the house, that's a no good thing. But on the main, I don't know. But I'd rather have copper. I know copper is expensive, but still. Almost instant pick sent to phone app is awesome as hell. Yeah, you're right. Chase says, I have a couple Tacticams, Chris. Been impressed with the cell coverage and features for almost a year now. Yeah, I watched a couple YouTube videos that compared the Tacticam, these Spy Points, and a couple other brands. And it just seemed that I came to the conclusion that the Spy Point was for me. So that's what I got. And yeah, it's pretty quick. I haven't set it to send immediately, but they did test that, and I think it was like 13 seconds or something, and boom. So you could know, you could be in a tree stand and know that, hey, this buck just walked under a tree on the other side of the property. I mean, it's crazy. And they're neat. I'll do a video on just those. But I got to thinking when I was thinking about security that, hey, that might be a cool way to do security. Although there's not a running full clip of it. You're not seeing live. So I don't know. I got to do some digging there. If any of you guys have ideas how to go longer distance with security cams like that, I would really like not to be on the internet, right? I don't want what goes on my homestead, my security, my system to be out there on the internet and somehow be available to someone, hacked into, whatever. I would prefer it to have to be a legal document signed by a judge that says I have to turn it over to someone, you know. The other thing I told you, we started brush hogging. I brush hogged the trail down to an area where I knew I wanted to put a range in. Well, when you see the property originally in the winter, when there's no leaves and everything's down, you can see the topography. Well, fast forward a few months, you can't see anything because the woods are so thick. And I think I remember where this is. I wanted to be able to shoot into the backside of a hillside so I don't have to worry about a berm, or nobody could ever complain. And so I brush hogged out an area. We've got for sure 50, but I think back to the hill when I didn't have a chainsaw that day, we'll have a 75-yard all-purpose range where I can get my steel out there. And that's my intent tomorrow, is to get my steel targets out there and some other stuff and actually do a first shooting video on the property. Some of you may ask, hey, what's the first gun you shot on the property? The first gun I shot on the property was my Uzi, and the second one was a KG9. So that was kind of cool. It was fun. Actually, no, let me think. Actually, maybe my Hellcat was the first one. Nope, wasn't either. It was a 22, I believe. I don't know. One of those. We've had a few shots, but just plinking, you know. We're going to get I've got it all mowed down. We're going to get the targets out there, and we're going to get a video done tomorrow for you. So you guys will be able to see it. And I'll get this video up so at least you see part of it. You'll see the road going in, kind of an overview of the whole property. And you will not see the wooded portion really, at least into it. You won't see the acreage behind it, and you won't see a lot of the trails and other stuff. So what you're seeing is just a teeny piece of it. I still can't get over how big it is. You don't realize, but crazy. Let's see, we had Bozo the Clown jump in there for a minute. Squeaky Cooler, good to see you. Great to have you here. Sounds like you have a beautiful place there, Rock. Good for you and yours for sure. Looking forward to seeing you getting some deer on the property and plenty of shooting videos. I am too. It solves my problems of, originally we could shoot on my other property, and then like a dummy, I put off buying this acreage behind. Just couldn't do it at the time. I guess you could do anything, but would it be affordable at the end? And there still would have been the problem of the little 2 acres between us that I may have been able to buy or not buy. But they built a home back there, and while there was a tree line between us, I could still shoot. But in good conscience, could I? No. Like they say, an attorney attached to every bullet, and I forget about the attorneys. I couldn't live with myself if something like that happened. So I just decided no more shooting on the property. And that was that. And then, of course, all the other things that come with that state happened, and that was that. So now I can shoot at home, which saves 2 hours of driving, range fees, although I love that club. But again, that club is down in Illinois. We used to have to travel all the way down there, over an hour, set up, shoot the videos, pack everything up, over an hour home. And now I can step out the back door if I want, or at worst, I jump in the side by side and run down to one of the ranges. We're gonna put in a long distance range too, so you guys will see that. We'll have a pistol range. I would love to get a trap house set up and actually be able to shoot trap out there, but we'll see what happens, you know. But yeah, it's no more club fees, no more traveling time, no more gas. I'll still keep my club membership probably, although it is across the cheddar curtain. So I don't know. We'll see. But it solves a ton of problems. I can shoot videos anytime I want. I can do night testing, all kinds of cool stuff. We can really get out in the woods and just have a ton of fun. I don't ever have to worry about anybody interrupting videos or worrying about range personnel or anything like that. Not that we did at the other place. We had the run of the place pretty much. As long as we were safe, everybody was fine. And it was hardly used. It's a great, great club. Let's see, who else? Yes, yeah, turkey hunts. You know, I've never hunted turkeys. And one of the guys I worked with at a previous job went out turkey hunting for the first time, and he was, you know, getting into it and buying all the stuff and thinking, man, yeah, my buddies, it's so hard and this and that. He went out the first time, sat an hour, got a gorgeous bird. And I thought, you know, a lot of people say turkeys are considered big game. And I thought, yeah, I'd like to hunt turkeys. That sounds like fun. You know, they've got super eyesight. You've got to be pretty stealthy. You got to be able to call them. And I've proved to myself I can do that with a slate call. I love doing it. I've done it in the backyard before and called them right in. So that's fun. And it's shotguns. Who doesn't like shotguns, you know? So when I saw all these turkeys, I was going to do it at our place up north this year anyways, but now that it's here, it's even better. If we don't get the fall one in, we'll for sure do the spring, but yeah, it's going to be fun. Started to say, still no coyotes. I wanted to try hunting coyotes, but I guess that's a good thing. I don't have to worry about the chickens as much, but I bet they're there. You know, coyotes are always there. So we'll see what comes of that. But I don't hunt stuff that I don't use or eat. So I used to hunt rabbits. I gave because I love eating rabbits. Love it, love it, love it. But I gave that up years ago. Just had an experience that didn't sit well with me. So I don't hunt rabbits anymore. Plus, it would upset my daughter. She's raised rabbits, has pet rabbits. And what else? I love pheasant hunting, but unfortunately, I don't think there's any birds there, but hey, why couldn't I plant some birds? There's a lot of pheasant farms around. Maybe I start planting enough of them because they're cheap. I could get some that stick around for a while. So we'll see. Either have fox or coyote, never both. Really interesting. I didn't know that. Thanks, Ross. See, you know what? You're right. Up north, way north at our other place, we have fox because one got me opening morning one time. Thought it was a deer coming up behind me. Crunch, crunch, crunch. There was like icy snow on the ground. I could hear this thing crunching, but the icy snow made it sound much bigger than it was. I thought it was a deer walking up. It got right under my stand. I'm in a tree stand. And I thought, oh, come on, take two more steps, you know. And it's just standing there forever, just standing. So I'm like, come on. Finally, I move a little bit and I look, and it's a red fox peeing on my tree, lifting his leg. I thought, you son of a, I should just blast him. And then I thought, oh, I'll scare the deer off. And hey, the scent will cover my scent, right? But yeah, you're right. I've never seen a coyote there. Now we have wolves up there. Over the years now, we've got, actually, Wisconsin's starting to have problems now with its wolf packs. And we knew that was going to be a problem 30 years ago when they put them there. We all told the DNR that, and all kinds of meetings and everything, and they still did it, telling us we were crazy. Yeah, now they're picking off animals and both livestock and family pets, and even, I think, an attack maybe on a person. But if you've never seen a wild wolf, trust me when I tell you there is no mistaking a coyote for a wolf. None. the size is so monstrously different. You have no idea how big a true timber wolf is. It's ridiculous. Um, yeah. Oops. What did I do? I hit the wrong button there. Keeps wanting to put ads in here for you guys to see. So I'm skipping them. So it's costing me money, but hey, what the heck. So that's good to know, Ross. And hey, thanks for coming in too. Appreciate it. DJ Miggs, did I miss when you explained why you were not? No. So I'm at work. Everything's fine. Normal day. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I just start feeling some tension up through here. And this area right here at the base of your skull where it's not much meat, it's pulling so hard. It's just killing me. I can't. If you've ever had a tension headache, you know how bad that is. And I'm pushing on both sides so hard trying to break that tension that after I got out of hospital 2 days later, the area was so, I couldn't even touch it. It was so sore because I was jamming my thumbs in so hard to get rid of it. And it started by, oh man, I'm uncomfortable. And then the tension then went through my shoulders and went down into my chest and my lats here. And it just got tighter and tighter, like it was pulling, and it hurt so bad. I don't know if I ever explained to you guys when I had shingles, it grabbed a nerve bundle right here and did the same thing, but basically from the waist up and just on the one side. It drew like little blood vessels into the spot where it grabbed the nerve bundle, but it would pull and contract those muscles because it was in the nerves so hard I thought my ribs were turning to dust. That was back then. So this was the same pain, just that's the only second time in my life I've had this, but it was from chest up only. Everything else was fine. It's getting more and more muscle so hard it would take my breath away, and it's just pulling, and I'm like, oh God, make it stop. It was like being clenched like that. This went on for hours. So about 4 o'clock, I said, I am not feeling good. I got to go home. So I ran home. I laid down for a minute. I couldn't lay down because on your back, your shoulders drop. That pulls all the muscles tighter. I couldn't breathe. I could not catch my breath. By the time I laid down and it hit from breathing, it took my breath away and I couldn't catch my breath back up. So I sat on the couch over here with one of these chairs I'm sitting in, my arms up like this and my head on it. I got comfortable. I think I dozed off 20 minutes to an hour. My wife woke me up and said, hey, the builder called me. We should go out to the property. I said, I can't go. There's no way. And finally she said, oh, come on. So grabbed a pillow, went out to the car and said, you drive. And we got about halfway there. And I said, take me to the hospital. I can't do this pain anymore. So we went to a local small emergency room. They say hospital. It's basically an emergency room and an urgent care. And they said, well, what's going on? They checked me for heart, right? Every heart test I had, EKGs. And later, they even did a stress test. They moved me by ambulance at 2:30 in the morning to the main hospital. They thought they did CTs and all these other scans. Didn't see anything. Then they thought blood clot. And I thought, oh, well, that sucks. But at least they know what it is and my pain will be going away. But no, I ended up like it's embarrassing. I was like literally screaming out loud in the emergency room. And I'm like, if you guys aren't going to do anything, I got to leave. I'm trying to rip the stuff off. I'm like, I got to go home. I can't do this. I was in so much pain. Just ridiculous. And the CT scans with the tube and all this stuff was even worse. How I had to hold my arms, and they gave me morphine. That didn't do a damn thing. 2 things of morphine, nothing. And I told them it's not, pain meds aren't going to do it. I need a muscle relaxer. That's what's causing this. Gave me one that took the edge off. I don't know if they gave me more or what, but it finally put me down. And the next thing I remember is these guys waking me up to take me to the other hospital. My wife was gone. So the next day they did a stress test on me. So get on this treadmill. I'm like, dude, I've been locked up for 8 hours. I'm exhausted. Think about for 8 hours. It's like a workout. I'm like, I can't even imagine lifting my leg right now, let alone getting on this running, having to breathe with every breath. It takes my breath away. Well, we can do the chemical. And I'm thinking, yeah, what if I can't breathe? How do you stop this thing? Well, I did it anyways, and it hits instantly. Like your heart rate goes to 170, bam, for an out of shape 58-year-old, right? I thought I was just, I'm like, I get through that. I get through all of it. They get me up to the room, and I'm down. I woke up sometime during the night, and then I woke up at 10 in the morning, and I'm like, why am I on a 7th floor? This building wasn't that big. Nurse comes in, and first thing she says is, oh my God. I said, what? She's like, nothing. You just look so much better than when you came in. I said, why? What was that? She goes, you just look like you were in absolute agony. And I said, well, I was, but I didn't feel like I looked that much better, but I did. But anyhow, she explained that they brought me there in the middle of the night and all that. They came up with no answers. Wasn't a blood clot, although they gave me blood thinners, and wasn't anything heart. The best they figure it was muscle caused by some kind of nerve thing. When it was all said and done, I'm rested back up. I get to thinking, Labor Day weekend, I was cranking a boat lift up, and I thought I ripped my shoulder. I'm like, oh man, that hurts. It went on for almost 24 hours. I woke up the next morning, it was gone. Like, how could that? That's weird. How could it be gone? But then, this old like back thing tweaked a little bit, and I thought, oh, geez, maybe that was what was causing that. Then I got to thinking, I'll bet this old back injury or whatever is pinching some nerve that's causing these muscle spasms that don't release. So that's what I'm thinking. So they said, just get with your general practitioner. We don't know what's wrong with you. So I called her, got an appointment. They're going to do a complete scan of my back, and then we're going to take a look with professionals, I guess. And I'm assuming they would have seen any major problem. So it's probably not something I need an operation for. And then, of course, it's the therapy. Well, I think I'll just never believed in chiropractics and all that, but my daughters do, and it's helped a lot of people I know. So I think I'm going to go that route, maybe with a good one, not a quack one, and see if they can't get this thing gone for good, because holy crap, I've said before that the pain is so bad, I'd rather just end it right there. But like here again, I go through it. I don't want to do it again. It's just terrible. Use the dirt for shooting backstops. I really don't need them because there's these big elevation changes with these disintegrating cliffs, that are like sliding down. So I can shoot right into the back of those. The property's just perfect. I can't tell you how perfect, Russ. I'm so happy to be able and blessed to be able to do this. I really am. So we're going to bring you that. Hattori back from working dinner, had a sausage and beef combo with Mott's. Damn you. At Portillo's. Which Portillo's, man? We got a Portillo's not too far. I made a decision. There's two things I will go back to Illinois for, and that is my favorite hot dogs and just Chicago food in general and work. But other than that, nope. Sorry, done. Orion Fixer, thank you for stopping in, and Hattori, as always, thank you. Thank you guys for coming back after such a long break. If you go back, watch the beginning. If you checked in late, you'll see what all the trauma and holdups have been here. Thanks for the tip, Ross. Fox won't live around Coyote. Sounds awesome. Can't wait to, you're going to love it. Scottsdale, they got Portillo's out there. Wow. Well, I think you live near Chicago. Just know you're only getting I'll say their beef's pretty darn good, and so are their Polish, but you're only getting a half-ass hot dog when you go to Portillo's. So anyhow, guys, we've been on for pushing 2 hours here, and I know I just had so much to talk about because of everything going on and not being on here. Most of it was due to internet availability because for those that weren't here, I busted my dish, maybe my disc too. I don't know. But yeah, so we got internet again. Everything's good there. The property, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they promised me the driveway's going in tomorrow, or at least starting. So we're going to go out there. I brush hogged the range. We're going to get some targets out. I'm going to film the first video. You'll be seeing that one in a few days. And it's going, man. As they clear stuff and we can show you, we're going to show you. And there's going to be a big series. So don't think that we're done with firearms. We're not. Like I said, I thought about taking this whole homestead series to another channel because they treat me better over there as far as the algorithm goes, but I felt like I'd be abandoning all you guys, and I told you I don't do it for the money. I do it for the fun and the people I've met and everything else, and the people that helped me in the beginning. So help me, guys, to help you. Help me to help me help you help you. However that old saying goes. You can always chime in with a super chat here. It's most appreciated. We're going to get something going, Patreon, t-shirts, something. I got to start funding some of this because it is ridiculous. But help me in the way that you recommend the channel to other people. Share it on your Facebook. Share a video that you like. Not just anyone. Pick one you really liked and share it. And get somebody to show up to these live streams. And finally, we're going to be getting you some more videos. As the pole barn goes up, we'll have better access to some of our firearms and whatnot, because a lot of stuff's everywhere and in storage and at people's homes and different stuff. So as things get going, the videos will just get more and more and better. And as soon as we get on the property, well, then it's just I'll let loose with everything. You'll have videos coming all the time. So it's been a long time coming, and I've been promising all this. I feel like the guys think, yeah, right. When's it going to start? Well, you're going to get the first video tonight or tomorrow, depending on how the upload gods see it. And enjoy. I hope you like it. It's not my best work, but it's cool. And you get to see Mrs. Rock at her finest. Actually, I think it's like the first time she's fully been on camera. So I think you'll like it. It's funny. And take what she does as a joke. Please don't take it seriously. But yeah, DJ Miggs, that's why I was in the hospital. Orion, I figured you were having a hard time. I was hoping it wasn't your health. Well, no, my health has been fine other than this crazy thing. I can't tell you how much pain. My wife thinks I'm full of shit, but actually it pisses her off, says I'm whining and this and that. But I just can't tell you how terrible it is. And I'm not doing it for attention like she says. But even now, breathing in, just my right side's fine. My left side's still locked up. So that's it. I won't talk about it anymore. Yeah, you're going to love it. You guys are going to love it. And I can't wait. And there's going to be cool stuff. We'll show you the chickens and the barn and how that's going up and what we did and why we did it. And please, if any of you guys have recommendations on any of this stuff before you do it, like the advice on the road that I know it's coming quick, but they're just clearing the organic off tomorrow. Putting up a pole barn, what mistakes you made, what you would do or wouldn't do, septic systems, foundations, wells, bringing electric in, security cameras, hunting stands, anything you guys are experts on, do for a living, can advise me on, help me on, give me your do's and don'ts. You have no idea how greatly appreciated it is. And to be able to reach out to a community as well-rounded as all of you guys and gals are, I would truly appreciate it. So feel free to message me in one of my latest videos, anything. Just something crosses your mind that might help me. put it in there. If you want to contact me, shoot me an email, whatever. Trust me, everything will be appreciated no matter what. I'm not that informed on a lot of this stuff. I'm not a construction guy, you know. While I've done blue collar jobs and I was a mechanic, I'm a white collar guy that, yeah, I can swing a hammer and do most anything, but I don't have a ton of experience personally doing it myself or that kind of thing with building a house, let's just say. So, or a homestead. And that's what I want this to be. We're going to be talking about, I would love to take this fully off grid. I think I could for the same price as running that electric that far. I think I could get a hell of a solar system for 40 to 60 grand. And I would be all in, and I'm not one of these tree huggers that thinks, oh yeah, we'll go solar and off grid. It's not about that. I love the idea of not being dependent upon a company, a utility, a state, or whatever. Love the idea of that. And today's solar does work really well. Yes, batteries are expensive, but they last a super long time. And you can literally do a system that runs everything. You know, you live like normal, you know. I would love to do it. My wife is dead set against it. Maybe you guys want to chime in. Chris, you're nuts. Don't do it. Or, hey, Mrs. Rock, no, it would be awesome. Or maybe we do it on a limited basis. Maybe I try to run some of the barn off it or whatever. Have it as a backup. We're going to put a whole house gen in. Any advice there would be great. We're not on gas. They don't bring gas that far, so we're on propane. I want to put a wood furnace in, not a wood stove or insert. I want to put a wood furnace in line with the forced air furnace that can either adapt to or work with or supplement the regular furnace. I want to do that for sure because we got all this wood. I can feed it just off deadfall every year. So any of you have experience with that, let me know. Hey, Chris, don't do it. Do a fireplace insert, but I'd love to be able to heat the whole house off it. If everything went to crap, I can heat the house off just wood and we'd be just fine. I'd love to have fail safes for everything. I don't need anybody to keep my family safe. And that's what it's about, keeping them safe. I worry about them. Me, I'm expendable, right? But I just want to keep them safe and have a place that at the end of the day, when I'm long gone, they got to fall back, right? And that's what I want. So any advice you could give, I would love it. Feel free. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys every week again and getting you the videos. Hey, when the videos really start rolling, the live streams may cut back a little bit. They'll certainly be shorter because this is crazy. And my wife will say, why do you do that? Well, whatever. I got a lot to say. Anyhow, thanks, guys and gals, for coming and checking this out and sticking with us through this. It's going to be really enjoyable. You're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully, you're going to learn a lot. Hopefully, we're going to learn a lot and do it together. And then at the end of the day, we're going to have a big, similar to 2A EDU get together here. And yeah, I guess we're going to have some Chicago-style hot dogs in Wisconsin. What the hell is that? Just fell on there. Two flies screwing. Anyhow, yeah, we'll have some Wisconsin brats along with our Chicago dogs. Does that mean I got to be a Packer fan too? I think so. Just because the rest of the family is Bears fans, so why not? Give them a little excitement. I like the Vikings too, but you have to be you have to be a Packers fan for a while. Yeah, although we don't have Rodgers or nothing. Figures I move here and we lose all the good quarterbacks, right? Anyhow, thanks, guys, for everything. Let me know. Maybe should I be a Packers fan, stick with the Bears, or maybe do the Vikings? Because I've always been a Vikings fan because of my grandfather. But anyhow, we're coming up on 2 hours, super long. Thanks for sticking around if you stuck around this long or watch it during the week. Makes for good drive time, right? Also, I wanted to put something else out there. Go over to the Sean Ryan Show channel. Watch some of his videos. He's got an array of guests. He's an ex-Navy SEAL and CIA agent. Some cool stuff to watch. This one dude, he's ex-Delta Force and a trainer for Delta Force. Any of the guys where he has these operators on, they're just jaw-dropping what these guys do, but it's also neat to see their thoughts afterwards and where they think things are going. And it's from the horse's mouth, the guys that were there, the guys that did it. And I can't tell you what a well-rounded, fabulous channel. This guy should have a mainstream TV show. It's that good. He's getting a lot of attention. Go over and check it out. Sean Ryan Show. You will love it. Anyhow, thanks again, guys. And as always, Rockford Ordnance